Imagine if the Senate, if the Republicans pick up enough votes in the Senate to get the next two or three conservative, meaning constitutional, Supreme Court justices through, then they're going to feel like they've got nothing left but violence because they're never going to say, maybe we were wrong. You know what? Maybe the conservatives are right. Some will, because they'll be disgusted by Antifa tactics, throwing bricks at old ladies on the street. But many will then say, there's only one thing left, and that's to go from violent street protests to, Ted Kaczynski tactics or false flag sniper tactics. That's going to happen. We're kidnapping the children of the Trumps, or taking out Rand Paul's family, like somebody was just arrested for.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Matt Bracken with you again for the next half an hour. Something that's important to understand is sometimes the enemy, they're evil, but they do come up with some good tactics. If anybody out there hasn't got a copy of Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, you keep hearing about this and maybe you don't really know what it is. Alinsky studied the mafia in Chicago. He applied what he learned from the mafia tactics, which include extortion, terrorism, propaganda. He created a manual for running labor unions and then for running cities using mafia tactics. And it's really brilliant. It's evil, but it's really brilliant. If you don't understand, if you don't have a copy, get a copy, learn it, and really, really absorb it. One of the things that I like to do is flip these things around on the progressives. They always say, make us hold to our own rules. If we're Christians and we believe in the golden rule, they use that as leverage against us. They'll stick the knife in our back at the moment that it's tactically, beneficial to them. But until that moment, they'll lie to our faces about their intentions. So I say, don't do it. Never take the left at face value as being sincere. They lie. It's what they do. If they came out and put a hammer and sickle on their hat, it would hurt their cause right now. So they don't. So anybody who is for open borders in 2018 is either a neo-communist, no matter what they would call themselves, leftist, progressive, ultra-liberal, social justice warrior. They're neo-communists, or they're Lenin's useful idiots. They just don't know any better. They see the crying child picture, it tears at their heartstrings, and they're just useful idiots. Don't take them as sincere when they say that they're just for justice or just for freedom or for people to live a better life. Their intention is to wreck this country. The United States is the last citadel. We're the bastion. If freedom falls in America, it falls around the globe. There won't be some place like New Zealand or, Chile to run away and hide in. If freedom is lost here, it's gone everywhere. That's why we're the main target. And the newest tactic of the neo-communists is open borders. Just to flood the zone, flood America with immigrants who don't care about the Constitution. They just want the benefits. But they're, not only do they take the benefits, but each one of them requires a little, squad of government employees to take care of all their benefits. So yeah, don't accept them at face value as just wanting social justice. They're neo-communists or they are useful idiots, but never just accept them at what they say, because what they do is lie. Okay, I'd like to go now. Chris in Washington's been on for an hour asking, is a violent civil war actually going to happen? Yeah, short answer, yes. But go ahead, Chris, let's talk about that.
Hey, Matt. First of all, I'd like to say thanks for the products, Alex, and all your staff puts out. I use them myself. Great products. Second of all, I work over here on the highways. I'm a heavy highway construction worker, and I see the anger on the left. I work the I-5 corridor here in Seattle, so I live in a very liberal, part of the state. and you can just see the anger. I see in the signs, vote in November, vote them all out, hate Trump. I see demonstrations, blah, blah, blah. Do you guys honestly think there's actually going to be fighting in the streets? Because I was telling my wife that we're coming back from shopping groceries, and I said, hey, imagine right now standing up here up on the mountain. I live over in the Olympic Peninsula. We're sitting up on the mountain and watching our country burn. And she just kind of gave me a weird look, and I kind of startled her with that. Because, you know, I always thought you were a wingnut, but you sure seem like everything you've been talking about is coming true. And I just kind of want to get your take on it.
Yeah, I think that what we're going to see in terms of, fighting in the streets, it'll primarily be things like the Patriot Prayer Movement going out and announcing a meeting which is going to draw Antifa. The Antifa will be ushered in by the police, who are also controlled by the social justice warrior mayors, certainly in your region and Berkeley, places like that. So the street fighting that you're going to see is going to be Antifa versus, patriots. However, that's going to change fairly quickly. If this really becomes a thing, somebody eventually is going to get in a high place and spray a crowd with a couple mags, and that's going to be the end of massive street protests. This is sure to happen. It kind of happened in Dallas, where the police were assassinated, but it would have just been probably even more effective if the same guy had sprayed the demonstrators and then left right-wing literature, for example, as a false flag. But sooner or later, somebody's going to get the idea. Either that, or they're going to plow a big truck right through a crowd. And the odds are it just as good as being a false flag operation as being, an overt operation. But yeah, I think it's going to happen, especially when the Democrats don't win in November. Right now, all of their chips are on, vote them out in November. But this open borders push is poison for the Democrats. It's going to be like Nixon versus McGovern, in '72. Never mind Watergate. We know what happened after that. But the liberals went so ultra liberal between '68 and '72 that Nixon won 49 states. If the message is getting through that the Democrats just want wide open borders, which means mass immigration, a diluted quality of health care, education, everything, because we're supporting the indigents of the entire world, the Democrats are going to be wiped out in November. They might win Portland and they might win, Massachusetts, but across the heartland, they are going to be wiped out. And after that, if you think that they were angry after Trump was elected, imagine if the Senate, if the Republicans pick up enough votes in the Senate to get the next 2 or 3 conservative, meaning constitutional, Supreme Court justices through. Then they're going to feel like they've got nothing left but violence, because they're never going to say, maybe we were wrong. You know what? Maybe the conservatives are right. Some will, because they'll be disgusted by Antifa tactics, throwing bricks at old ladies on the street. But many will then say, there's only one thing left, and that's to go from violent street protests to Ted Kaczynski tactics or false flag sniper tactics. That's going to happen. We're kidnapping the children of the Trumps, or taking out Rand Paul's family, like somebody was just arrested for. Yeah, I don't see that there's any back down, and I think that the Republicans are going to win big in November, and then the remaining progressives are just going to totally lose their minds and go for violence. That's what I see happening. I don't see what else can happen. I'm going to take the next call, and then we're going to talk about it after the break also. Sean in Iowa, if civil war broke out, what should we do? You want to expand on that question until we go to the break there, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead. You've got it.
Yeah. Matt, I really want to thank you for your service to this great nation, first and foremost.
Thank you.
What are your suggestions if this does happen? Which I really hope it doesn't. But I love this country. I do not want to see this country become a communistic dictator asshole. If you understand what I'm saying. What are your suggestions for? What are your suggestions for us patriots that love this country in the case civil war does break out.
Well, I think that you need to harden up your own family infrastructure. You know, there could be serious disruptions, and we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. But you need to be prepared to go it alone for a month at least. That means no supermarkets, no water coming into your house. If you can do that, you're well on the way to making it through. And we'll talk about that some more on the other side.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the Resistance.
Donald Trump.
I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. I left my cell, my pager, and my home phone at the bottom. I sent 2 letters back in autumn. You must not have got them. There probably was a problem at the post office or something. Sometimes I scribble addresses too sloppy when I jot them. But anyways, what's up, man? How's your daughter? I know you probably hear this every day, but I'm your biggest fan. Anyways, I hope you get this, man. Hit me back, just a chat. Truly yours.
I can't stand that motherfucker, and I feel like he's not paying attention to me.
Okay.
And I was kind of waiting for him to say something.
Like his Twitter fingers, yeah.
Yeah, and for some reason, he didn't say anything.
This 4th of July is special. Everybody can see it, they can feel it. The globalists are attempting to kill a worldwide awakening to their tyranny. And America, yet again, is at the heart of the resistance to the globalist. That's why this 4th of July, I'm asking all of our great supporters to think about InfoWars now more than ever. And what would the world be like if InfoWars wasn't there resisting the globalist? What would have happened if you hadn't supported InfoWars? We would not be having the victories we have today. So yes, a lot of good things are happening, but the enemy is striking back. So please, think about InfoWars and funding our operation while you get great products at the same time on this 4th of July that's so historic. We have record sales going on right now. Free shipping on hundreds of different items. More than 20 items are 50% off, like Brain Force Plus. X2 is 40% off. Knockout Sleep Aid, $17.76. Silver Bullets, $9.95 colloidal silver. And free shipping, you can't beat that. This 4th of July is special, and our sales are special to match it. InfoWarsStore.com.